Hello world, Shelly here, and we are in the middle of Foundation MegaFest. 15 days in a row of foundation reviews. As always, inspired by ThaTaylaa. If you don't currently watch her, go check her out. I will link her down below, as I do in every single one of my foundation videos. And today we're going to check out a new stick foundation from Makeup Revolution. This is their Fast Base Stick Foundation, and it comes in 18 different shades, which is pretty good for a drugstore priced foundation launch. I have this in the shade F2. Now, when I purchased this at Ulta, they did not have testers out. It was not yet on their website, and so I had to guess based on the sticker what shade to buy, and this looked to be the pink undertone of the fairest shades, and I'm wrong. So according to the website, this is for fair with yellow undertones. They do address neutral, cool, and warm. The shade range does look like it goes pretty deep, at least in the swatches that they show on the website, and that's a good thing. I like to see an inclusive shade range. So this is a yellow undertone. I am neutral, and I lean slightly cool as of undertone. So this might be too yellow for me. We'll see, but it is retails for $9. You get 0.21 ounces of product, which is pretty typical for a stick foundation, and it's currently getting 4.5 out of 5 stars with 23 reviews on Ulta's website, and they don't say a whole lot about the product itself. They say foundation just got faster, multiple shades, range of undertones, quickly perfects contours and highlights your complexion. Doesn't say anything about coverage, doesn't say anything about the type of finish that it's going to be. I don't have many stick foundations in my collection, but we will swatch this against some other drugstore priced foundations and see where this color F2 matches up. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick in shade F2, which is their fair, warm, or yellow undertone. Second is the Milani Conceal and Perfect in shade 00A, which is just a smidge darker and more of a peachy pink cool undertone. Third is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in their lightest shade 201 Classic Ivory, which I think is about the same lightness to darkness, but the L'Oreal is a true pink cool undertone. Fourth up is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir in shade, whoa Nelly, that's dark. It's actually shade 710, which was the lightest shade I could purchase at the time when it first came out, but I believe they do have lighter shades now. And last, I've got the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation in shade LC1, which is their lightest cool toned or pink undertone shade. I am starting out with a 43-year-old face. This is summertime, so I'm pretty much normal to dry. In the winter, I'm a lot more dry than I am in the summertime, but I do have some sun damage on this side of my face that I like to cover up, sunspots, a little bit more texture than I've got over here. I do have enlarged pores around my cheeks, my chin, and the center of my forehead here. This also has some texture that likes to give trouble to foundation. I've got fine lines on my forehead, got smile lines, and that's what I'm trying to negate with my foundations. I have already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened my face. I have primed with the L'Oreal Infallible Glow Lock Primer. I have been really enjoying this stuff. It's got a nice sort of tacky finish, which I like. I feel like it grips onto foundation really well, and it does seem to extend the wear of my foundation. It has a subtle luminosity. Let's get that eyelash off my cheek. There's a subtle luminosity to it, but since I tend toward dry skin, I like that feeling of a little bit of extra moisture going on, so thumbs up on this one. I am enjoying it, and I've used it enough times now with foundations I am familiar with that I think we're going to be okay to use it in a review. I will go in on one side of my face with a sponge. This is the gigantic Sonia Kashuk sponge. Like, literally, the camera is not exaggerating the size of this. It's like bigger than my nose. Look how tall it is. The other side, I will use my favorite blending brush. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Brand new one, baby. Can't really do a consistency check because it's a stick, but here we go. Ooh, it's nice and smooth. I'm so thirsty, you guys. Shameless plug. Blended out very nicely, fairly easily with the sponge. I'm missing some coverage on my nose here, which I will go back in and touch up with, but since I did my whole face, I want to get the brush in here and get going. The finish looks very nice and really about the same on either side in terms of both coverage and finish, so I'd say if you have a preference, use a sponge or a brush. Either way is fine. I do have some spots where I need more coverage, like around my nose. The thing with stick foundations is they don't sort of blur out as easily as a liquid foundation, and so you have to be careful about where you put it to make sure you've got coverage everywhere. So let's test if it's buildable and fix some of the coverage, some of the spots that I missed. And get this nose. Got to cover the schnoz, people. Do you see this finish, you guys? This finish though, it's a really nice, it's dewy, but it's not like sweaty dewy. I feel like I am getting very nice blurring of texture. I'm getting actually very nice blurring of pores. The coverage here is really nice. I'd say it's a nice medium coverage, and you know, I can see just the tiniest bit of little tiny bit of redness peeking through on my chin, little bit of my sunspots, freckles peeking through, little bit of that weird blood vessel that runs through the cheek on my right side of my face, your left. But other than that, you know, it's a nice medium coverage. It built on itself very nicely. I don't feel like it looks heavy or cakey. I think it is doing a very nice job at blurring and smoothing. It is not caking up around my nostrils. It's not accentuating my smile lines. It is not caking up on the texture in between my eyebrows, but I feel like it's a little bit not, I'm not getting the best coverage right there. So far, no settling into lines. We'll see if that changes. I see I missed a spot at my hairline, but other than that, I think this is really pretty to start out with. I'm impressed. I like it. Color-wise, you know, my neck is always in shadow the way my lights are, but I feel like lightness to darkness, it's about right for me. So this is their fairest lightness to darkness. So if you are paler than I am, this might be a little bit too dark. I am not self-tanning now, so I'm pretty much as pale as I get. And it is definitely a yellow undertone. It's a warm undertone foundation. At this price, that's the nice thing about inexpensive foundations. At this price, I may just go back and pick up the F3, which is the fair cool undertone. F1 was fair neutral. So yeah, color match I think is good so far. As long as it doesn't oxidize, I think we will be okay. So let's check the time. Let's call it 1 o'clock. It is 12:58 p.m. right now. Let's call it 1 o'clock. I'm going to go put the rest of my face on, and I will be right back. I'm back. This foundation is gorgeous. So pretty. So pretty. It's not settling into any lines whatsoever. I did end up setting it because it felt a little bit tacky, and I set it with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. This is in the shade Fair, and That did take down a little bit of the dewiness, which made me a little bit sad, but some of it has come back now that it's sort of settling into my skin, and I feel like if we set it with like a dewy setting mist, it would bring that life right back to it, although it still looks pretty. It's pretty. It's like, words, use different words, Shelly. Okay. No trouble blending anything at all on top of this foundation. For concealer, I used the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Perfect. I have this in the shade C3, and doggone, it's like they were like, mwah, I love you. They blended together like peas and carrots. Like peas and carrots, like not even like peas and carrots. What's better than peas and carrots? Peanut butter and jelly. Like they loved each other, and that was probably the easiest concealer application I've ever had in my life. So yeah, I'm liking this one so far, you guys. I'm really liking it. It is, I wish I had the pink undertone. You know, looking at my chest, like I can tell this is like the almost liver failing level of yellow. But you know, if you are a warm undertone, then it's gonna be perfect. It's not an ugly yellow undertone. It's the kind that sometimes I can actually get away with. Like when I have a little bit of sun, I lean a little bit warmer, but I don't have any sun right now, so all my pink is showing. Anyway, that is not the foundation's fault. That is my fault for choosing the wrong shade. And I'm digging the heck out of this one so far. Let me tell you what else is on my face. For blush, Butter Blush, Natural Glow, Physicians Formula. I haven't dug this one out in a while, but I was feeling so glowy that it had to happen. Bronzer, Broken Record, True Match Lumi Bronze It. This is in the shade Light. And my highlight, I'm sorry guys, when I'm stuck on something, I'm stuck. It's the Maybelline Master Chrome. This is Molten Rose Gold. And my eyes, trying out for the first time, the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. My first impression is I like where I ended up. I feel like it wasn't as intuitive as I had hoped to put together an eye look. The powders are a bit powdery. They kick up a bit of powder, but they blended out perfectly fine, and they had plenty of pigmentation, even that bright yellow, which you would think would be tough to pull off. It did come off as true to pan, which I appreciated. The shimmers work better wet than they do dry, but overall, it's an okay palette. If you are attracted to this color scheme, I would say go grab it. I'm usually not a fan of drugstore eyeshadow formulas, but Maybelline's been kind of knocking me out of the park a little bit lately. So formula's good. If you like this color scheme, it's also supposed to smell like lemons, but I really didn't notice that. I don't smell anything, like at all. So I don't know about the whole scented thing, but I think it is pretty. I like where I ended up, and I will use it again. For my lip, I'm wearing the Model's Own Cheat Day, and this is in the shade Meringue. It's like a, it's on my teeth. Now that it's settling down, it was really oddly sticky in a few places when I first put it on, but now it seems to have completely dried down. Yeah, there's not really transfer. So, well, let's, I'm being so shameless right now. Yeah, nothing. So I don't know how transfer proof it'll be through a meal. I also can't decide if I love it or hate it in terms of the color and the finish. But there it is for what it's worth. Brows. I was going to stay all drugstore, but I couldn't help myself. The Kat Von D, this is the Brow Struck. It's in the shade Walnut. Do you guys think that the red undertone in this dark brown somehow subconsciously made me dye my hair red? I don't know. Maybe it did. That is where we're starting out. Check-in time's 1 p.m. I'll be back in a few hours with a daylight check-in, and then I'll be back tonight with my final thoughts. Oh, before I forget, I'm trying for the first time also a new Revlon mascara, the Volumazing mascara. And at first I was super freaking stoked, cat hair, because the brush reminds me a lot of my Marc Jacobs favorite Velvet Noir. It doesn't really perform the same. And in terms of volume, I almost feel like it's more lengthening than volumizing. Yeah, like, I feel like my lashes look thin and pokey as opposed to looking thick and full. I don't hate it. I don't not like it. It's just not the look I expected, but I don't know. I'll play with it a bit more. It's worth a couple more tries. I'll keep you posted. Hey guys, it is 5 o'clock, and so that puts us at about the 4-hour mark right now, and I just got a good look in the mirror, and so far so good. Everything is holding up really nicely as far as I can tell. I don't see any settling. I don't see any creasing or lines. It's not accentuating my smile lines or anything like that. The color does not seem to have changed. It still seems to be exactly how it was this morning, which, you know, I just wish it wasn't yellow toned, because as you can tell, it's not the right undertone for me, but lightness to darkness, I think it is just fine. Try to get it's getting windy. We have thunderstorms literally rolling in like any minute now. I think I heard thunder when I stepped out here. So yeah, so far so good. I think this foundation looks absolutely beautiful. And just for reference, this lip, I had lunch, had a sandwich, and it does wear off in the middle. It's not completely transfer proof, but that's where we're at right now. I have not touched it up. That's what it looks like after a meal. Yeah, so there you have it. Color match in a variety of lightings. Well, yeah. I like it. Here comes the storms. Blowing my hair. It's 11:31 p.m. That puts us just past the 10.5-hour mark with the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation. And let's see how it held up. Honestly, you guys, I love it. It's definitely a dewy finish, and had I not chosen the wrong color, I don't think it would look so strange. It's the wrong undertone for me, but I am definitely going back, and I think I'm going to actually purchase the neutral and the cool just to have all three so I can make my favorite combo whenever I need to. And let's take a look up close. Right now, basically, there's a little bit of wear off on my chin and around my nose, but it's not settling into my smile lines. It has held up in terms of keeping my blush, bronzer, highlight in place. It is not settling into pores. It is still blurring texture and still blurring pores. It really has not caked up anywhere around my nose or in between my eyebrows. My forehead looks fine. It is not settled into my forehead lines. I mean, when it comes to all of the things I look for in a foundation for dry skin and maturing skin, it's basically, it has to be hydrating or at least not drying. It can't settle into lines, at least not significantly, and it should blur texture and blur pores, and this foundation does all of that. It is, I would call it slightly hydrating. It is not at all drying, so if you have dry skin, you're a-okay with this one. I would say the feeling of it on the skin is lightweight. Not super lightweight. It's not the most lightweight thing, but it's better than average in terms of weight. I feel completely comfortable after 10.5 hours. I'm not ready to take it off. I basically forgot I was wearing my makeup. I almost forgot to do this check-in. You know that's a good foundation day when I'm ready to go to bed and haven't even thought about my face. So if I had to give a grade to the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation with a shade range of 18, which is pretty good, I have no complaints. Is this the first ever straight up A? I think it is for a drugstore foundation. I'm giving it a straight up A now. Just so you know, there's no such thing as an A+. Nothing is perfect. But straight up A, and a high A at that. I'm going to say this is like a 96% A. This is a beautiful foundation. I'm stoked. I'm really, really happy to have found this one. So there you have it. If you guys try this one out, let me know how it goes. I'm very curious. I would also love to know if you've got combo or oily skin and you try this out. Please let me know in the comments below. I would like to know how it works on other skin tones. I'm sure other viewers would be checking out the comments to see how it works for other skin types, skin tones, etc. But yeah, I think I have a new crush, you guys. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. If you have suggestions for foundations you would like to see me check out, please leave them down in the comments below. You are right in the middle of the Foundation MegaFest. It's going to run June 8th to 22nd. So if you're watching this 2018 while this is running live, you've got 8 more foundations to go. I believe this was the 7th, day 7. So keep on checking in every single night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I typically post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. But for the MegaFest, you're getting them every night. And there you have it. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.